Excellent. So I'm here to talk about our horizontal approach in M2M with one platform and multiple solutions. This is who we are, but I'll go into more detail. We track things and monitor people and things that matter most, and we do it brilliantly. And so it's an end-to-end approach with software, devices, network, and supporting services. Usually we're behind brands that you would buy or see, so we're usually with the moniker of powered by. And we're horizontal by design, and I'll go through the story of how we got there and how that's helping us in the ROI or cost advantage of doing so. We provide solutions to the market either out of the box, which are turnkey for any channel to sell to their constituent base, or we provide custom solutions. And I'll go through some examples of each of these and some of the brands that you would definitely recognize, powered by Omnilink. We support judicial customers, we support consumer and commercial, and across a broad array of industries and sub-verticals within those. In the people tracking, we provide a solution for the National Alzheimer's Association for caregivers to be able to monitor their loved ones for peace of mind. We provide a solution branded for the Amber Watch Foundation for child tracking. We provide a product for government and correction agencies for monitoring criminals, probation and parole, which would be an alternative program to being in jail. And we provide solutions for mobile workers or lone workers who are at risk in their workplace, either because of the environment they work in or because they may be at risk of an attack. So all of those are people tracking. That pretty looking dog on the upper left is a retriever by the name of Chase, and it is Sprint Corporation's Chief Goose Patrol Officer around that campus. They keep the geese away from making a mess. So we do pets as well, and we track things that matter, things of high value, or things that people care to know where they are for productivity or utilization. But how did we get started? Back in 2004, when the cost of data was exceptionally high and the module cost was very high, we looked at a market that could sustain a high revenue per unit that would allow us to get into the market and really build our first solution. And as I talk through our approach, I talk about the solution being what the customer buys. I talk about an application being really just the software that we build. And then the platform evolved and grew with all of those building blocks as we built more and more solutions. But we found a problem in the market where people were being monitored in their homes with an RF ankle bracelet, but if they walked outside their home, it would just tell the officer they weren't there. And the products that were coming into market that were able to track were very cumbersome and very kludgy. They would be, for example, a device on an ankle tethered to a base station in the home to transmit it through their local phone, and then they'd have a Garmin-type hockey puck to data log when they left the home in GPS, and then if they needed to transmit that real time, they'd carry a bag phone. So Omnilink created a single unit device, which I'm holding up here, for the ankle of an offender, and it is waterproof, and we utilized network-based location from carriers so that when GPS wasn't available, we had a fallback capability. So very disruptive technology, and it is still a market-leading solution in the offender tracking space. But because of that, it had to work, and it had to work almost perfectly. You don't put people out of jail into society and create a risk. So we had to create a very robust system with an infrastructure that is up to 5 nines based on contracts that are requiring us to meet that SLA, not just dual redundant software and infrastructure, but redundant within a site and redundant geographically. So when we do releases that upgrade our systems, they actually don't go down. We have that much infrastructure built in, and that's a key foundation for as we move into new markets, we can just leverage and provide that same level of infrastructure and provides everything that customers need from us and brands that rely on us. So what we did is we looked at the offender market and said, it's a great market. We built our business off of it, but it's such a bigger M2M space, how do we get there? And what we did is we said, well, let's keep that infrastructure that we built and leverage it. Let's take the application that we built, which was for offender, and then create a new user interface and a whole new set of features that are really relevant for different business markets. So we did that for consumer, and we did it for enterprise. And now what we have is a whole set of people tracking and thing or asset tracking solutions that came out of that, and I've got a case study I'll go through in a minute that talks about how we could be that broad with still under 70 people in the company. So lots and lots of solutions. You're welcome to look at this on the internet. It's very fine print, I realize. And then we have custom solutions where we would leverage much of what we had, but then when customers like Verizon or Tyco for security or AudioVox for their connected car product would say, I need something to look a little different and maybe it needs to be on my website, we have that. So a product that Verizon launched not too long ago was a mobile personal emergency solution that Omnilink powers, and the caregivers that would purchase this for their senior have done this for years with products that work as a personal emergency product in homes. And with the advent of Verizon's wireless network, it works wherever they are. So if they fall and they can't get up and they're not in their house, this is what they can rely on. And Omnilink provides the caregiver portal and some of the hooks between the device and the application. And with AudioVox, we did an application for a connected car with an OBD2 device named Car Connection, and those are available at Sears today. So broad array of applications, but they kind of rely on and center on many of the same things. When we focus on applications, it's going to be for theft prevention, asset optimization, or monitoring. And our building blocks for what we call Focal Point, which is our platform, really is looking at all the things you'd need to leverage, whether it be device management, dots on a map, the ability to provide alerts and notify people, have the reporting, show on our application or others, and then a different UI design. And that's exactly what these boxes represent for our Focal Point platform. Then the applications are three. We have Focal Point Offender Monitoring. We got stuck with that name. We have Personal Tracker, which is like a family locator application. And we have Asset Tracker, which is a one UI for any business to track their vehicles, assets, or people that matter. And then as we approach it, we look at what has to change with each new solution. If I have a basic asset tracker for a business application and I want to do trailer tracking, and that trailer tracking is also tell me when the cargo or the door opens or light shows up in the back of the trailer, I just look at a new device, integrate it into a common UI, and that level of effort differs based on how much those devices and sensors are different, but it still gets ported back into my application. And my UI can be very simple, from just changing it and reskinning it, and we don't have to go through a code release, or we actually get very custom like Verizon and others. It's end-to-end, so it's hardware, network, software, and services. And then because we built this on the back of a very, very mission-critical market like Offender, we get to leverage everything across all of our solutions. They're distributed in almost every way: stores, website, portals, e-commerce, and these are what we get out of it for every application that we build. Some may say we overshoot for personal tracking, but I don't think there's too much security you can have around the people you love most. So those all come with 24/7 support, and people are in seats, and the 5 nines of uptime that are required for one of our markets aren't discriminated against for any of our other markets. So real quickly in our ROI, what I wanted to do here is give you a representative idea of what it costs to build this kind of mission-critical platform. So in the initial build, with all of the infrastructure and all of the redundancy and all of the licensing and the software and the people, would cost somewhere around $8 million to build. This is our approach when we talk to companies that want to do it themselves. I mean, we do this for a living and it's leverageable. And then when you want to support it for 5 years, even though we're in the web, there's still ongoing licensing fees that we have to pay our partners. So there's a big nut to cross to hit any market that you want to serve. And we had that as $18 million for the 5 years. So if you look at the vertical solution on the left, assume that's our offender tracking solution for $18 million, or anybody that wants to provide a similar solution. If we want to create another app like Personal Tracker or Asset Tracker, that will then be able to leverage most of what we've built already, and it's only going to be $500,000 to build it and $500,000 to maintain it per year. So what you're seeing across the bottom is a economies of scale ROI for us of break-even analysis is a better way to look at it. And when we go into companies and approach them about what it takes for us to deliver it versus them, but you get all that other stuff I was talking about, it's kind of a no-brainer. And on the very far right, we've taken a product like Alzheimer's Comfort Zone for senior tracking and made it available to parents for Amber Watch, and all we had to do was reskin it. And for them, it was just, is this the right device for you? We might have to do a new device, but the application was very, very simple to deliver. And kind of the aha slide, which you may not be able to see, the judges have a printout of this, is what does it take to actually hit and be successful as an application or solution provider? And because most companies are point solutions and they have one per market, they actually have to produce quite well in these markets that don't pay that well, like personal tracking and consumer. So if you're sub $5 a month in your margin, like let's say in a child tracking solution, you may have to deliver 200,000 subscribers over your first launch to be able to pay for that application. Whereas if we build it off of our platform, it's closer to just over 3,000 subscribers. It's even less for when we private label something off of our application. So this is really the idea of how to scale with a horizontal platform from stuff you've already built, but it does take a lot of investment up front, and it takes a lot of good people to support it. So here are some of our partners that we've helped make successful, and they've helped make us successful. And these are some of the awards we've received, and I think there's room for one more. Thank you.